Hey VC, what's up? It's me, yours truly. I am back to post a quick video here. Back to do a What's Been Spinning video. This is where I just kind of share with you the albums that I've been spinning since the last What's Been Spinning video. I think this one has come a little bit sooner than it normally does, but yeah, I guess just the last few days I've been playing a ton of stuff, and I just saw the stack kind of piling up, so I thought, let me just shoot a video tonight. As always, these are the albums that I actually kind of set back and listened to from start to finish, not where I just kind of, skipped around on a song here or there, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, let's just kind of jump right into it. Some CDs and cassettes here as well. We'll start off with the cassette. That legend right there, Alice in Chains Facelift. Again, I don't have to say much about this album. You guys know this one. I definitely love this one. I love the heaviness of the riffs on this album, especially like the song It Ain't Like That. Just so freaking heavy. Moving right along, what do we have? Oh, James Brown, Greatest Hits. Everything you would expect from a James Brown's Greatest Hits CD. Alana Davis. This is her release from, I forgot what year this is from. But Blame It On Me. I'm too blind without my glasses to see what the year is on the side of the CD. But yeah, really, really cool album right here. The hit off of this was kind of 32 Flavors, really cool song. And she just had one of those very unique voices and a very nice voice too, because when you hear or see clips of her live, it sounds just like she did on the album. Just one of those unique kind of voices, a little bit deeper than what matches her outward appearance. But yeah, really, really good stuff. And I hadn't sat down and listened to this entire album in a while, so that was a very, very good listen. Next, a little Free. Tons of sobs here with, Paul Rodgers at the helm. Just awesome classic rock stuff there. Slightly different cover there. That's the French version of the CD. I know my U.S. pressing of the vinyl has a different cover on it. And my boy right here, Bobby Womack, just one of my absolute favorite, just old school R&B artists here. When I say old school, he put stuff out in the 60s, 70s, 80s, up through the 2000s. So this is, one of the many type of compilation CDs that he has. And, the song I Wish He Didn't Trust Me So Much is definitely my favorite song off of this album. One of his bigger hits from the 80s. Talk Show, Go-Go's. Again, little 80s feel there. You guys know this one all too well. Head Over Heels and all that great stuff. And then my girl, Jillian Welch. This is what Hell Amongst the Yearlings, or the Yearlings. Really, really cool album. Jillian Welch is definitely just like straight up that folk Americana type of stuff. And it's just so freaking beautiful. She nails just about everything that she does. If you ever seen the movie Oh Brother Where Art Thou, I kind of heard that soundtrack. I think she actually sang on a couple of songs on that soundtrack, but everything about that movie and that soundtrack just personifies everything she does. So if you like that kind of Americana folk, definitely go check it out. And favorite song off of this one is Whiskey Girl. I wish they would get around to pressing more of her stuff on vinyl. And last but not least for the CDs, a little Babe Ruth Greatest Hits. Kind of a cool band, I guess back in the 70s, I guess. Kind of prog, classic rock mix, that type of thing. But yeah, really cool Greatest Hits album there. And on to the vinyl here. We'll start off with one that I tend to go back to about every 3 months or so, the Marshall Tucker Band Greatest Hits. This is a freaking fantastic album. Can't You See, Heard It in a Love Song, Fire on the Mountain. Just this like perfect southern rock country kind of mix. Almost at some points with like some soft rock elements mixed into that. But yes, like songs like Can't You See, I think it's just one of those absolute perfect 10 out of 10 songs for me. But yeah, I tend to go back to that album quite a bit. Little Jelly Roll. Had to give this a spin the other day. Really, really cool album. Definitely has a mixture of kind of country, but also R&B and even some hip-hop flavor in there. But I've always said this is kind of a really good gateway album for someone who's not really into country. But if you kind of like hip-hop and R&B, this is one that can kind of pull you into some of the cool stuff that's happening on the countryside. So really cool release. That was his release from 2022. Really cool album there. Little El DeBarge, another classic from the 80s here, 1986. Who's Johnny, of course, was the theme song from the movie Short Circuit. And then Love Always was the other kind of big hit off of this. But yeah, just some of that classic 80s R&B, which is awesome there. And kind of the same thing here with my boy Simply Red. The guys whose voice didn't quite match his look, but I mean, he laid down some great stuff. And on here, he had the big hit, If You Don't Know Me By Now. That's his release from 1989. And cool jazz piece I hadn't gone back and listened to in a while, but this is Bud Powell, Time Waits, the amazing Bud Powell, excuse me. This came out in 1958, and yeah, really cool stuff. This is one too that, I mean, it's great jazz. It's not like it's smooth jazz or elevated music or anything like that, but it's always one that makes me think of, this is the type of jazz album you play at a dinner party, or like just kind of background, just really kind of, chilling out. Because it's really cool stuff and has, like, throughout the album, maybe 3 or 4 different drum solos that just kind of randomly pop up. And it's just a really, really pleasant listen. So if you're not familiar with that for some reason, definitely make sure you check it out. Little King Diamond, Fatal Portrait here. For all you metalheads, you definitely know King Diamond. This is his release from 1986. Just one of those guys that as soon as you hear his voice, you know it without even looking. So another cool one there. And then my boy Jason, we did a video not too long ago, and he talked about some albums that were perfect 10s for him. And after, the way he spoke about him, he got me all kind of pumped up, and I'm like, I need to go pull those and listen to them again, because it's been a while. And one of the ones he talked about was Talking Heads, Speaking in Tongues. And I mean, yeah, just such a groovy freaking album. And, Talking Heads did so much amazing stuff, but it had been a while since I spun this one from front to back and just really had a chance to enjoy it. And especially if you haven't heard it in so long and you've kind of cleansed your palate a little bit, and, you can kind of go back and experience it again. It's just a really, really great listen. And of course, Burning Down the House was the huge hit off of that, but awesome stuff. Little Chronic Town, early REM from 1982. Again, I just kind of randomly grabbed some REM stuff the other day and wanted to give this a spin. So nice little promo copy there. Clapton Chronicles, the best stuff, 2 LP set. I'm sure a lot of you probably maybe had this CD over the years. But yeah, 2 LP set, great sounding pressing too, especially not to be any type of an audiophile pressing or anything like that. Nice 2 LP set, sounds fantastic, and all the things you expect to find off of here. Change the World, Tears in Heaven, Layla. It's kind of nice it has some of his stuff from the Pilgrim album off of here too, like My Father's Eyes, A River of Tears, that's also off the Pilgrim album, which I think is one of my favorite Clapton albums. So yeah, a lot of cool stuff there. Nice 2 LP set. And then a little glam / hair metal here. Britney Fox. This is their release from 1988. Girl School, probably the biggest hit off of this. But, I mean, yeah, that cover kind of says all. Fun times. And then I actually went back and played some more James Brown. So Golden 30 Hits. 2 LP set with just 30 of James Brown's greatest hits and pretty much the same stuff that was on the CD. I just got the urge to play it again. Little Bon Jovi here. His release from 1984. Big hit off of here is probably definitely Runaway. I think that was kind of really the first song that really kind of, Bon Jovi started getting radio play and all that stuff off of that. But to me, She Don't Know Me is still my favorite song off of this album, and arguably probably one of my top 5 favorite Bon Jovi songs. So some good stuff early on in his career there. D-Mode, Depeche Mode, some kind of reward, or Some Great Reward, I'm sorry. Another fantastic one, but I mean, all D-Mode is fantastic. From 1984, and of course you have the song People Are People off of here, but then also that awesome grooviness of Lie to Me. Just one of my absolute favorite Depeche Mode songs there too. So another great spin. ABC, How to Be a Zillionaire, going back to some of that 80s kind of new wave dancey type of stuff. One of my favorite tracks from back in the day would Be Near Me by ABC off of this. Love that track. I can't tell you more than any other song, like literally throughout my entire childhood and teenage, more than any other song, I remember sitting in front of my boombox waiting for them to play it on the radio so I can record it. And I don't think I ever did get a recording off the radio. But I have so many vivid memories of waiting for that song. So it's kind of rewarding owning the vinyl as an adult. Heroes, David Bowie. Again, you guys know that one. I don't have to say anything about that. Little Curtis Blow, Kingdom Blow, 1988. Just kind of one of the early kings of hip hop. I'm sorry, 86. One of the early kings of hip hop. And again, if you know Curtis Blow, you know Curtis Blow. Keep moving along here. Like I said, it's quite a bit I've been spending. Allman Brothers, Idlewild South, another fantastic one. Of course, with one of my 10 out of 10 songs, Midnight Rider. I mean, that song is just so freaking perfect. Oh my goodness. And Allman's cameo on that just kills it. Another one I think that Jason mentioned that made me go grab it, The Cure, 17 Seconds. Again, everything by The Cure is awesome, so I'm not going to go into that one too much. So, Peter Gabriel, absolute just 80s bomb of an album, just so freaking big. So many hits off of this. Sledgehammer, Don't Give Up, Red Rain, In Your Eyes, Big Time, on and on and on. Just one of those legendary albums from the 80s. And another one that Jason mentioned as a 10 out of 10 album that he made me go pull, B-52's Whammy. So, he's a huge B-52's fan. So, again, he started talking about this, and I was like, man, it's been a little while since I spun that. I need to go grab it. So, yeah, Jason had a lot of influence in this go-around. Cinderella, Long Cold Winter. This is their release from 1988. This was the first album that got me into Cinderella, so it's definitely kind of one that, holds a place. Gypsy Road, Don't Know What You Got, stuff like that. Really, really cool stuff. Kind of one of the cool hair metal bands, if you will, that had a lot of kind of blues flavor in what they did. So another great one there. Styx 2. This is their release from 1973. And of course, you had this hit Lady off of here. So another good one there. You guys know the Styx all too well. Best of Carly Simon. Love me some Carly. She is absolutely fantastic. So I love going back to this album every now and then. Of course, You're So Vain. Fantastic song. Anticipation. Love it to death. Although every time I listen to this, I wish there was a way I could carve out the song Mockingbird. That is like the worst song in the world to me. It sounds like a joke. Like it's a comedy skit. I can't stand that song, but everything else, Carly, I got your back. But yeah, I can't stand that song Mockingbird off of that. Poison, Open Up and Say Ah. The band cover. If you can remember a day when that was too much and needed to be banned. This is their 1988 release. Fallen Angel. Nothing But a Good Time. Just fun stuff. Just back when it was fun. And a little Bad Company. Burning Sky there. Just one I hadn't spun in a while. I guess really kind of no gigantic hits off of this one, but like I said, just with all the Bad Company, I tend to go to their self-titled and a couple others more frequently. This is their release from 1976, so just gave that one a spin the other day. And one of my favorite soundtracks right here, Rockstar. Oh, this is one of my favorite movies to watch over and over, one of my favorite soundtracks. It has some regular stuff on here like, Wild Side by Motley Crue and Living on a Prayer by Bon Jovi, Stranglehold by Ted Nugent, Lick It Up by Kiss, Devil Inside by NXS. So some regular stuff, but really the gems on this album is all of the stuff that the band from the movie, the fictional band, Steel Dragon did in the movie. That is what makes this thing freaking gold. Living the Life, We All Die Young, Blood Pollution, Stand Up, Wasted Generation, Long Live Rock and Roll. I mean, just all of those songs by Still Dragon on this thing is just awesome. So again, another soundtrack I go to pretty often. Craig Mack, Project Funk the World. This was a Record Store Day release from, it was this past Record Store Day, I believe? Yeah, it was this past Record Store Day. Of course, you got the gigantic hit Flavor in Your Ear off of this, which to me is one of the absolute perfect hip-hop songs. That I think one of probably the 10 best hip-hop songs of all time. But yeah, it's just one of those albums that, Craig has a very unique delivery, which is just really kind of smooth and really adds a lot of vibe to his delivery. A lot of the beats on here aren't like clear, clean-cut beats. There's a lot of kind of muffle to them, and it just freaking works. Yeah, I mean, Craig, he passed away a while ago, but yeah, Flavor in Your Ear is still just one of the ultimate classic hip-hop songs of all time. Frankie Miller Band, The Rock. I cannot say enough good things about this album. I've really yet to meet anyone that has known the album before I've told them about it. I'm sure there's plenty of you in the VC here that have. I just haven't spoken to you about it. But I love introducing this album to people because it is just freaking fantastic. Just great songwriting and, yeah, I mean, again, really, really good stuff. 1975. If you haven't heard this before, I start off with the song Bridgeton, and then maybe All My Love to You. Start off with those two songs. You'll get a little bit of a Van Morrison type of vibe from the songs, but sang a little differently. But yeah, really, really great album. I listen to that one a lot. Mike and the Mechanics, going back to the beautiful 80s here, 1985. Of course, you have the song Silent Running and All I Need Is a Miracle. Just fantastic stuff. With what's his name? Mike, what's his name from Genesis. So another great album there. The Church, Starfish, another classic. Under the Milky Way, of course, was the huge hit off of this album. Just one of the best monotone vocalists, I think, just kind of really ever. So really great stuff there. And my boy Bad Brains, just one of the most talented groups out there. You want hardcore punk, they'll give it to you. You want metal feel, they'll give it to you. You want a straight up reggae song, they'll give it to you. And they can do it all well. Probably my overall favorite album by them is Live. This has my favorite song, which is Reignition. And I do love the live version better than the studio album version. The live version is a little bit faster, which is exactly where that song needs to be. But yeah, definitely check it out if you haven't heard that before. And here's some more Bad Brains that I happen to throw on. This is their release from 1989. So again, just more great stuff. I mean, those guys are just so freaking talented. Little TLC. I think this is their debut release from 1992. Ain't Too Proud to Beg, of course, is on here. Yeah, and just kind of some of that early 90s. Some people like to call it hip hop. I mean, it's still more R&B to me. Loose Ends. Zagora. Just another just awesome 80s, artsy kind of 80s R&B band. But they had that just absolute jam off of this one called Slow Down. I mean, that song just had me up and dancing all around my music room. So always great to give that a spin. And the last two, Carole King, Tapestry. Don't have to say anything. You guys know that one all too well. And probably you know this one too, for that matter. The Who. Went back and gave that a little spin. You Better, You Bet. Again, you guys know this one. So don't say much about that. So yeah, that's what's been spinning since the last What's Been Spinning video. So I knew that one would take quite some time, but as always, appreciate you guys sticking around. Appreciate you watching. Let me know what you think, and we will talk to you soon. All right, take care, guys.